So, good morning to Learning Fraternity of Government Engineering Colleges, Karnataka. Today, we will discuss about Model 4 of the subject Elements of Mechanical Engineering, that is 18 ME 25 for the second semester. And coming to the contents of Model 4, we have power transmission systems, gear drives, properties, composition, and industrial application of various engineering materials, and the joining process, namely soldering, brazing, and welding. Coming to the properties, composition, and industrial application of engineering materials. If we design a system, a device, a machine, two things comes into picture. One is concept, and the other one is materials. So selecting a suitable materials, you can make your concept to work. That is the first phase of the any engineering aspect. Over a period of time, the society or a company demands improvement in the device or equipment. One of the possibility of improvement is by selecting appropriate material, by selecting smart materials of the existing engineering field. So here, by not changing the concept, only by changing the materials, it is possible to improve the performance. Hence, the study of engineering materials for the students of any engineering branch is very important. Before going to study in detail, let us look at some various points about the engineering materials. Materials, under that, the first point is materials of various kinds are developed, and it is difficult to describe all of them in the single text. So hence if we take the steel itself, we have got nearly about 2,500 steels. Hence it is not possible to study in a single subject as a subject as all including all the materials. Here it is confined to study those materials which are commonly used for various engineering applications, and these materials have a set of properties which are evaluated for the specific applications. Selection of materials for a specific project application is an important activity for the success and failure of the project. Look at the point. So here the concept is not only the important. It says that the selection of material will also leads to failure rather than the success. Hence, it is very important to select the appropriate material. For that, all the engineering students should have the knowledge of the material science. So coming to the classification of the materials. So materials can be classified like this: ferrous materials, non-ferrous materials, plastics, ceramics, diamond and composite materials, and nano materials. So coming to the ferrous materials. Ferrous materials are the materials that consist mostly of the iron and small amount of the other elements. Ferrous metals are prone to rusting if exposed to atmosphere. Ferrous metals can be also picked up by magnet. The rusting of magnetic properties in ferrous materials are both down due to the iron content. What it says that the iron content is the responsible for the rusting, and then for the magnetic properties. So ferrous materials are those materials which contains iron as a major component. So ferrous materials, once again, ferrous metal contains iron. Example are cast iron, mild steel, carbon steel, high carbon steel, stainless steel, high speed steel, and its atomic number is 26, and it is represented by what is that chemical symbol is Fe. And coming to the non-ferrous metals, non-ferrous metals do not contain iron. Some of the common examples are copper, zinc, tin, brass, and bronze. These are the non-ferrous materials. And coming to the ferrous materials, the pig iron is the base for any ferrous materials. Why? Because from the ore, the first product or first material that we get is the pig iron, and this pig iron is produced uh, in the blast furnace by fueling the coke and limestone. Pig iron has very high carbon content, typically 3.5 to 4.5%, along with the silica and other constituent of brass, which makes it brittle and not useful directly as a material except for the limited applications. So, as I said, this is the material for the various other non-ferrous materials, and the use of pig iron as a direct use of pig iron directly is very limited. And coming to the other group of ferrous material, that is cast iron. Cast iron is a group of iron carbon alloys with a carbon content greater than the 2%. Its usefulness derives from the relatively low melting point temperature, low cost, and then easily availability. So here the cast iron can be classified into four major groups or four major types. That is white cast iron, grey cast iron, ductile cast iron, and then malleable cast iron. These are the four important cast irons that are commercially available and used for the various engineering applications. Let us go one by one. First is white cast iron. These are the iron carbon alloy having more than 2.11% of carbon. All carbon present in the combined cementite form, which makes the fracture of these alloys to have a dull and white color, and that is the reason for their name as a white iron. So here cementite, I want to explain cementite. Cementite, when with the capability of iron to consume the carbon is 6.67%. If we mix iron and the maximum content of the carbon, we will going to get some non-metal compound that is called as cementite, which is very hard, and this fellow will dictate the properties of the material. So the composition of the white cast iron is something like this. So carbon is 2.5, and then nickel and copper is 1.5, and all other various alloying elements in chromium is around 17%, and all other alloying elements are less than 1%. So properties of white cast iron: hard and wear resistant. The hardness and brittleness increases as the carbon content increases. Hardness, brittle hardness. This is called as brittle hardness number, and this is what the number Brinell hardness number, and the tensile strength is somewhat 20,000 to 70,000 pounds per square inch, and actually this is supposed to be in SI units, and the compressive strength is somewhat comes in this range. Coming to the various limitations, because of extreme brittleness and lack of machinability, white iron finds limited engineering applications. And then coming to various applications, the white iron is the source for the producing the very useful malleable cast iron. When the white iron is subjected to a process called as malleabilization, or in simple words I can say the process by which ductility can be increased, we will going to get the malleable cast iron. And other applications are liners for the cement mixtures, various components of ball mills, and certain types of drawing dies, extrusion nozzles. So this is you can see liners for the cement mixtures, and this is a ball mill, and these are the various nozzles used in the wire drying process. And here is an example for the manufacturing of furniture by using this white cast iron. And the other one is a grey cast iron. The iron carbon alloy contains flakes of graphite embedded in the steel matrix, which shows a gray blackish color fracture due to fracture due to graphite. The free foam of carbon are called as gray cast iron. The strength of the gray cast iron depends on the strength of the steel matrix and the size and characteristics of the graphite flakes in it. The typical feature of gray cast iron is that graphite is in the form of flakes as shown in the microstructure, whatever these lines are the presence of graphite. And coming to the composition, the total carbon content is around 4%, silicon 1.2 to 3.5%, manganese is somewhere around up to 1.1%, sulfur is 0.12%, phosphorus is up to nearly about 0.9%. Coming to the properties of widely used this gray cast iron. Low cost of production. This is true with any type of cast iron. And the other one is melting point is low compared to the other types of cast iron and then steel. Other important engineering property is good castability. Cast iron has an excellent fluidity and takes a good multiple mold impressions easily. Graphite have low density, is voluminous. Its larger volume compensate for the shrinkage. Gray iron thus does not need shrinkage alloys at all to take a almost exact casting impression. So when we look at the content under good castability, what it says that importantly we need not to maintain or we need not to give any shrinkage allowance. Why? Because it is, as I said, it is a voluminous, so that shrinkage during solidification what happens, the volume goes on decreases, and then the actual volume of the component cannot be affected much compared to the other castings like steel and other things where we have to maintain what is called as the shrinkage allowance. So coming to other property, that is good miscibility of gray cast iron is due to easy and discontinuous chip formation due to brittle graphite flakes. The presence of this graphite flakes generates discontinuous chips. When a material is subjected to machining, we are going to get two types of chips from the material. One is continuous chip and the other one is discontinuous chips. The formation of discontinuous chips will provide or will support a good surface finish and also increase the life of the cutting tool. All these things are true with the what is called as the gray cast iron, and hence in the single word we can say that good miscibility of the gray cast iron is good. And the other properties are good wear resistance and high damping capacities, and then high compressive strength, and then high thermal conductivity, good resistance to atmospheric corrosion, and notch sensitivity. Let us take this into a detail, and other things are, I think you can understand. So notch sensitivity. So notch can, in simple words, notch can be replaced by a small hole or a small fracture or small presence of any foreign material in the metal. So when these are presented in the material, naturally what happens, the strength of the material decreases or failure will concentrate on the notch. But here, in spite of having notches or discontinuities, the property of the material will not be affected, and by that it says that notch insensitivity. So the property of the material will not be affected by the presence of notch or small holes. So and the other one is malleable cast iron. So here in the malleable cast iron, the graphite is in the form of a noodle form produced by heat treatment of the white cast iron. So here the white, as we have discussed in the previous slides, so the white cast iron is the material for the production of malleable cast iron, Here graphite nodules are present in the irregular clusters, and properties are similar to ductile iron. And coming to the composition, the carbon content is up to 2.65, silicon is up to 1.4, manganese is 0.5%, 0.55%, phosphorus is less than 0.18, and sulfur is 0.05. So these are the composition. And coming to the applications, malleable iron is better for thinner castings. So thinner castings, that means this is suitable for castings where the wall thickness is less. And other is vehicle components, the powertrains, frames, suspension and wheels, steering components, transmission and differential parts, and then connecting rods, and the railway components, and 5 fittings. So look at here, what he says, coming to here, high damping capacity. So this is the property which makes the material to use all the automobile or applications or vehicle components. So we know that the vehicle components are subjected to a lot of vibrations, and that is supported by or absorbed by this malleable iron. Hence it is useful for all such vehicle components. And coming to the other group of ferrous materials, which is very important, that is steels. Steels are alloys of iron and carbon. The major content of any steel is iron and carbon. So we will vary the iron carbon content so that the properties will change, so that based on that properties we will call the steel as so and so and so and so. So here at the game point is the carbon content. Widely used for construction and other applications because of their high tensile strength and low cost. So the steel can be once again classified based on the carbon content as low carbon steels, medium carbon steels, and then high carbon steels. The steel which is having carbon content less than 0.1% are called as low carbon steels, and the applications are various applications are valves, small gears, screws, rivets, nuts, and pins. And this is a very ductile and soft material compared to other types of materials in this group, and this is the one used for all general engineering purpose. Coming to medium carbon steels, so here the carbon content is increased. Let us say here it is 0.1%, and see here it is the carbon content ranges from 0.35 to 0.7% of carbon. And coming to the properties, strong, hard, tough, with high tensile strength but less ductile, and then mild steel. So as the carbon content increases, it will become more hard, and strength is also increases. And the applications, coming to the applications, the springs, any application where the resistance wear is needed. And the other one is high carbon steels. Coming to the composition of the carbon, it is 0.7 to 1.5 carbon. And coming to the properties and characteristics, even harder than the medium carbon steel, and more brittle, and can heat treated to make it harder and tougher. And applications are cutting tools and mechanical and any other mechanical elements. And other one is stainless steel. Look at here, stainless steel. So here basically it's an alloy of iron and carbon percent goes on varies depending upon the requirement, and of course it is less than 1.2%. And with this we're going to have maximum 18% of chromium and 8% of nickel, and small amount of magnesium, silicon, sulfur, phosphor, and other alloying elements. So the chromium, the main element is chromium here. In the case of stainless steel, it reacts with the atmospheric oxygen, forms a shiny layer. so that the metal is protected. Because of that, it is used in all kitchen equipments, and then uh, cutlery for cutting purposes. Coming to the properties and characteristics: hard, tough, resist wear and corrosion. This is very important. Corrosion, it is not at all possible. Corrosion of chromium steels or stainless steels are not at all possible. Why? Because outer layer is completely covered by a chromium oxide. And coming to the other type of steel, that is tool steel. Composition: alloy of iron and once again the carbon with tungsten, chromium, vanadium, and some times even cobalt. Coming to the properties and characteristics: very hard, high abrasion and heat resistant. Application is for even for hand tools and for the cutting tools for the various machines. Tool steel. The name itself it says that it is this is the steel used for the production of the machine tools, where that means cutting tools. Cutting tools. And then coming to the other non-ferrous materials, the first and very important is aluminum. So non-ferrous materials means where there is no iron content. Coming to the very first, that is aluminum, is a chemical element in the boron group with the symbol Al and atomic number is 13. It is a silvery white, soft, non-magnetic, ductile material. Aluminum is the third most abundant element after oxygen and silicon, and the most abundant material in the earth crust. It makes up to 8% by weight of the earth soil surface. And then composition: here there is no composition, it's a pure aluminum, it's an element. Coming to the characteristics and properties: good strength to weight ratio, light, soft, ductile, good conductor of heat and electricity. So here when we take the ratio between the strength and weight, so it gives a good value compared to all other material. And applications are window frames, general cast equipments, and even for the structural components they will use where the strength is not very high. And the other one is copper. Copper is a chemical element with the symbol Cu, capital C and small u, and atomic number is 29. It is a ductile material with a high thermal and electrical conductivity. Pure copper is soft, malleable. A freshly exposed surface has a reddish orange color. It is used as a conductor of heat and electricity, as a building material, and a constituent for the production of various other metal alloys. Once again, here there is no composition, it's an element. Copper is an element. And then coming to the properties and characteristics: malleable, ductile, good conductor of heat and electricity, resistance to corrosion. Applications are water pipes, electrical wires, and decorative goods. And then the other one is zinc. Zinc is also called commercially as spelter. It is a chemical element with a symbol Zn, and atomic number is 30. It is the first element of group 12 of the periodic table. In some respect, zinc is chemically similar to the magnesium. Zinc is the 24th most abundant element available in the earth crust. Composition: no composition, it's an element. Properties: weak metal, extremely resistant to corrosion. Application: usually used for the coating of steels to make galvanized iron sheets. So the zinc coated sheets, also called as zinc sheets, the main intention of the coating zinc is for the protection of corrosion and also for some aesthetic appearance. So as a material, zinc has got a very limited applications, but it supports the other materials to increase the life and strength of the material. And the brass is an alloy made out of copper and zinc. The proportions of the zinc and copper can be varied to create a range of brasses with various properties. So as we know that as a pure material, any material right from iron to all the materials that we have discussed, when the material is pure, its strength is less and the material will be very soft, so that it will not be useful for the engineering applications. That is the idea people have come up with, alloying or mixing one or two materials so that the strength can be improved. Even for this matter, the ornaments cannot be made by 100% gold. Why? Because they will break down. They will break. So with the intention, what they do, they will add some copper so that the strength increases, and then the ornaments will not broke. So that is the idea of preparing or manufacturing what you call the alloys. So that is the brass is not the pure material. It's an alloy formed by copper and zinc. Composition: alloy of copper and zinc. Properties and characteristics: resistance to corrosion, fairly hard, good conductor of heat and electricity. Coming to the applications: cast items such as water taps and ornaments. And the other one is bronze. Bronze is an alloy consisting primarily copper, and in addition to the other materials, usually tin and some other alloying elements are phosphorus, aluminum, manganese and silicon. These additions produces an alloy much harder than the copper alone. That is what the point. Copper alone. So composition: alloy of copper and tin. Tin is a major alloying element. And coming to the properties: fairly strong, malleable, ductile and soft. Applications: coming to the application, decorative goods and then fittings. And coming to the other element, that is tin. Tin is a chemical element with symbol capital S and small l, and atomic number is 50. It is a main group of metal in group 14 of the periodic table. Composition is a pure tin. Properties and characteristics: soft, weak, malleable, ductile and resistant to corrosion. Application: usually used for coating steels to form tin plates. So some coming to the objective type of questions. Material which contains iron is known as composite, nanomaterials, ferrous materials and non-ferrous materials. When it contains iron, it's called ferrous materials. Cast iron contains dash percent of carbon, 1%, above 10%, 4 to 8% and 2 to 5%. Bronze is an alloy of copper and tin, not aluminum, zinc or silver. Major alloying elements of stainless steel: aluminum, zinc, chromium and silver. It's chromium. Brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. So brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Pig iron is not useful for most of the engineering application due to hardness, brittleness, cost, ductility. So it is due to brittleness. Chemical symbol of aluminum is AU, AN, AL, AM. It is AL. Chemical symbol for the copper is Cu. Chemical symbol for the zinc is Zn, capital Z and small n. The cast iron having lowest melting point among all other cast irons is white cast iron, grey cast iron, malleable cast iron, and ductile cast iron. As we have discussed, it is grey cast iron. And thank you for the learning fraternity. Thank you very much.